I thought it was funny how life had the cruelest timing. One moment you spend years secretly loving someone, and the next, an Omega walks in and takes everything from you like it was theirs all along. That was the day I realized I was nothing more than the invisible shadow in my boss's life. The office lights hummed above me as I stacked files on his desk. Alexander Canemy, boss, my alpha, was everything. Ruthless in negotiations, precise in command, untouchable in the corporate world. And for a decade, I had been his assistant, his confidant, his unshakable support system. 10 years of silent devotion, 10 years of stealing glances when he wasn't looking, 10 years of swallowing feelings I knew could destroy me if they ever escaped. But then he met him, the Omega, perfect, radiant, and openly everything I was too afraid to be. Suddenly, Alexander's stern face softened in ways I had never seen. His voice gentled when speaking to him. His eyes, those stormy gray eyes I had memorized, no longer searched for me. I should have hated the Omega. I should have despised the way he breezed into Alexander's life and claimed the warmth I had been starving for. But the truth? I hated myself more, for being ordinary, for never daring to say a word, for being the one who handed over Alexander's schedule, who arranged his meetings with the Omega, who smiled while dying inside. So I left, quietly, without ceremony. I typed my resignation letter at 3 a.m., hands trembling, and left it on his desk. A coward's way out, but it was all I had. I couldn't bear to see him smile at someone else again. Weeks passed. I thought my absence wouldn't even ripple his world. But then came for me. It was a cold evening in Brooklyn when the knock shook my apartment door. I opened it, and there he was, Alexander Kane, still in his perfectly tailored suit, but his hair was slightly out of place, his tie loosened like he had been running. His eyes, those same gray storms, were fixed on me with something raw, something I had never seen before. "Why did you leave?" His voice cracked the air like a blade. I tried to smile, tried to shrug it off like it was nothing. "You don't need me anymore. You have him." Silence. His jaw tightened. Then he stepped inside, uninvited but undeniable, filling the small space of my apartment with his presence. My heart raced like it remembered every single reason I had ever loved him. "You think he matters?" His voice was low, dangerous. "You think I haven't seen you all these years?" I froze. My chest clenched. Was he saying what I thought? No, impossible. I shook my head. "Stop. Don't do this. Don't give me hope." He moved closer. The distance between us shrank until I could feel the warmth of his breath. His hand, hesitant yet trembling, lifted to touch my face. 10 years of restraint shattered in a single moment. "I have loved you," Alexander whispered, his voice breaking. "For 10 years. Every damn day." The world fell silent. The city outside, the noise of traffic, even my own doubts, everything disappeared in the force of his confession. But love, when it comes too late, can be as cruel as it is beautiful. Because I remembered the way he smiled at the Omega. I remembered the laughter, the softness, the stolen glances. And I wondered, was I only the safety net he turned to when it all fell apart? My chest ached with the weight of his words, but my voice came out sharp. "Then why didn't you say anything before? Why let me suffer in silence while you chased someone else?" His eyes burned, but he didn't look away. "Because I was a coward. I thought you deserved better than me. And when the Omega came, I told myself it was easier. Easier to bury what I felt than to risk destroying you." I laughed bitterly. "You destroyed me anyway." The pain in his face was almost unbearable. But then he did something I never expected. He fell to his knees. Alexander Kane, the untouchable alpha, kneeling in my tiny apartment with his hands clutching mine like I was the only thing keeping him alive. "I can't lose you," he whispered. "Not again. Not like this." And just like that, the walls I had built around my heart began to crack. Because no matter how much I wanted to hate him, no matter how much I wanted to push him away, the truth was crueler than anything. I still loved him with every scar, every broken piece of me, every night I had spent longing for a man I thought I could never have. The silence stretched, thick with unsaid words. His grip tightened, desperate. And I knew we were standing at the edge of something that could either save us or ruin us forever. The night air outside was sharp when I finally pulled him to his feet. We stood by the window, the lights of the city sprawling endlessly below us. I could see our reflections in the glass, two men, broken but reaching for each other. 10 years, I whispered, my voice shaking. You're telling me you've loved me for 10 years? His answer was simple, steady, unflinching. Yes, and I'll spend the rest of my life proving it, if you let me. For the first time in years, hope dared to slip into my chest. Fragile, terrifying, but alive. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to. But love wasn't enough to erase the years of silence, the wounds of being unseen. And yet when his hand slid into mine, warm and trembling, I didn't pull away. The days after his confession felt like living on the edge of a storm. Alexander didn't leave. He refused. He followed me to work at the cafe, sat in the corner as I took orders, his eyes never leaving me. He walked me home, stood outside my door like a sentinel. He sent flowers that I didn't dare throw away. Each gesture wasn't grand, it was relentless. But the city whispered. The Omega whispered louder. I caught their words like thorns in the air. He's an alpha. He'll always belong to an Omega. You think you can replace what's destined? Destiny. What a cruel lie. I confronted Alexander one night when the weight became unbearable. Why are you doing this? I demanded, my voice breaking. The world won't accept us. They'll eat us alive. He stepped closer, his hand finding mine, grounding me. Then let them choke. I won't let anyone dictate who I love. Not anymore. I stared at him, searching for cracks in his resolve, but there were none. For the first time, Alexander Kane wasn't the untouchable alpha or the ruthless boss. She was just a man, terrified of losing me. The storm came faster than I expected. His board of directors called an emergency meeting. Rumors had spread about us, about him choosing a man who wasn't an Omega. They said it was weakness, a scandal, a betrayal of his status. I was summoned, dragged into that suffocating room of suits and judgment. I stood small at the edge of the conference table as they tore into him. An alpha of your standing cannot afford this distraction. You have an Omega available. Your duty is clear. You'll destroy this company if you continue down this path. Their words were knives. I wanted to disappear to save him from this. But before I could speak, Alexander rose to his full height, towering over them all. His voice thundered. My duty is to the truth. My truth is him. And then God help Mayhay pointed at me. Every pair of eyes turned. My chest caved in, the ground tilting beneath me. But Alexander's gaze anchored me. He wasn't ashamed. He wasn't afraid. I built this empire, he continued, his voice steady, ironclad. And I won't watch it dictate who I can love. If you think I'll step down, then you've forgotten who made you powerful in the first place. The room erupted. Shouts, outrage. But I couldn't hear them. All I could hear was my heart breaking open, shattering the last of my defenses. Because in that moment he chose me. Publicly. Entirely. At the risk of everything. We left the building together, hand in hand. Cameras flashed outside. Reporters screaming questions. But his grip never loosened. He shielded me with his body, his presence, his strength. And for the first time in 10 years, I didn't hide behind him, I stood beside him. That night, in the quiet of his penthouse, I finally let myself collapse into him. I don't know if I'm strong enough for this, I admitted, my tears soaking his shirt. His arms wrapped around me, steady, unyielding. Then let me be strong for both of us. The words broke me, but they also healed me. I clung to him, trembling, as the city lights painted us in gold and shadow. For once, I didn't fight it. For once, I let myself belong. Months passed. The storm didn't vanish, it never does. Whispers remained, but they grew quieter. The Omega moved on, finding another alpha who craved the spotlight of destiny more than Alexander ever could. The board tried to resist, but the empire didn't crumble. Alexander's leadership was unshakable, and with time, even they bowed to his will. And me? I learned how to be seen, how to stand tall in a world that told me I didn't belong. Because every time doubt crept in, Alexander was there, reminding me with every touch, every kiss, every vow whispered against my skin, that I was not second choice, I was his only choice. On a warm spring evening, we walked through Central Park, the cherry blossoms scattering in the breeze. The city buzzed around us, but in his arms, I felt like the world had finally quieted. 10 years, I murmured, leaning into him. You wasted 10 years. He chuckled softly, pressing a kiss to my temple. No, I was waiting for you to be ready. I looked up at him, incredulous. Ready? His eyes softened, gray storms finally at peace. To believe you were worth being loved. My throat tightened, words catching in the swell of emotion. But I didn't need to answer. My hand slipped into his, and in that moment, I knew. We had survived the fire, and what remained was unbreakable. Love isn't about destiny. It isn't about alphas or omegas, rules or roles. Love is the choice you make every single day to stay, to fight, to believe. And as I stood with Alexander beneath the falling petals, his arms around me, his lips brushing mine, I understood one simple truth. He had loved me for 10 years. But no, finally I was ready to love him back for the rest of my life. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.